because you're a fucking adult and you can soothe yourself. Okay, Q&A time. It's about fucking time. Here's the question. How do I reconcile moving from being an emotionally needy and codependent dude to loving myself and not needing anyone? This is a common question that comes up in many forms in my DMs and in some capacity in my coaching programs, and we're kind of working on that. So here's the challenge that I'll start with for a lot of guys, and that is, broadly speaking, when we take out this context, we tend to be very all or nothing about things. And so we want things to be black and white. The masculine, it's not just men, but the masculine likes details and specific, and it runs by logic, right? And so we like often things to be nice, clear cut, but the world is full of grey and colours, and hence the need for us to understand and be able to move between the masculine and the feminine, so we can play in those areas, so we can play in the nuance. So all or nothing isn't generally going to work. And so how this plays out is in many ways. For example, the nice guy who is nice to everyone and says yes to everything and tries to appease and keep the peace and act in ways to, let's be clear, manipulate people's perceptions of him so they like him, often gets stuck in the all or nothing thinking that if I'm not the nice guy, I have to be an asshole. Of course not. What about somewhere in between? I'm gonna give you the widest spectrum that I can. One is a fucking complete nice guy, walkover, pushover, who resents people for not being nice to him back and giving him what he doesn't communicate that he wants. And the other end of the spectrum is being a piece of shit asshole. That's not the answer. That's the other end of the spectrum. That's the all or nothing thing. It doesn't work. And so it happens with this question. How do I move from being way into the spectrum, totally emotionally needy and codependent, to loving myself, which is important, and that's in here, and not needing anyone, right? And so I get what comes in that question, because there was a bit more context to it, the whole story, but you guys don't really need to hear the whole story. How do I go from being completely codependent and needy to not needing anyone and completely independent? I would say that is possibly a problem with the approach at the moment. In the middle there is loving yourself, is accepting yourself, is actually taking on the responsibility of meeting the majority of your needs yourself, and getting to a point where you're so much more whole because you're not chasing other people and validation, right, and praise and approval, and maybe things, money and status and jobs and achievements, to feel like you are okay. Because that's what we're doing really in that codependent and emotionally needy place, is we're seeking other people to soothe us and make us feel like we're okay. When you can shift to a place of being more secure in yourself, then you can move into a relationship where you, one, have, as I said before, the majority of your needs taken care of yourself, because you're a fucking adult and you can soothe yourself and step into being secure and taking care of your insecurities by and large, but you're allowed to have reassurance from others. And so what that is going to look like is not necessarily independence, right? Because in any relationship, there is a form of dependence, right? But what we want is interdependence. That doesn't mean that you lose your sovereignty. And this is a term that I think a lot of us, especially men, and quite often the masculine, it's not necessarily just men, get confused around. We think freedom and independence means if I'm in a relationship, someone's taking my independence and taking my freedom. It's like, no one can take my sovereignty, my self-governance, but I can have that and be intimate with someone at the same time. And so the shift here for this person might be everything that I've discussed: moving to sovereignty, moving to self-governance, moving to self-regulation, self-determination, and wanting to be in a relationship with someone, wanting to share your life and your experiences with someone, not needing them to make you feel okay and bring calm to your life, to soothe you. That's your job, brother. But you get to want. And at the same time, so that's the difference between needing someone and wanting them. And at the same time, you get to really enjoy when your partner gives you feedback, when your partner reaffirms you, when your partner validates you, when your partner shares that they appreciate you and what they appreciate you. Those things can coexist. Being a nice person and setting boundaries can coexist. Hopefully you're getting the message for this question and perhaps some broader questions that you might have. I love sharing these Q&As. It's been a while between drinks. If you've got your own question for me, please hit me in the DMs with them. My request is that you are specific. I don't want to have to go back and say, what do you mean by this? But that you're precise. Please don't give me a big, long story that makes it very hard to convey when it comes to the message. Be specific, be precise. This is two gentlemen. This is your opportunity to ask your questions and have them spoken to anonymously so you can start doing the work. All right? I trust this meets you well. And remember to build and to be and to have that legendary integrity.